I saw how Krishna protects his devotees. When Krishna says, I to my I carry what they protect what they have. I saw that in action. I don't want to tell you how Krishna protected me. One day. That is just details. But I can tell you for sure that whatever was needed for me to continue my Krishna consciousness, whatever was needed for me to, based on my level of purification, whatever was needed for me to be active in my services was provided by Krishna. I'm so thankful that I took that decision and I went there and I met him. That is the purpose of life. Krishna sees, when Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, it is not possible to just wake up one day and do Sarva Dharman Parityajya. You have to do it moment by moment. You have to do in small steps, bit by bit. Today you have to surrender one bit, tomorrow you have to surrender another bit. Tonight you have to surrender another bit, in the next morning you have to surrender another bit. And in this way, when moment by moment, when you take life bit by bit and try to surrender to Krishna bit by bit, then one day you will be able to become a role model of the Sarva Dharman Parityajya verse. So Krishna sees what sacrifices which we are trying to make in small installments, and then he gives us the intelligence by which we can go back home, back to Godhead to him. That's what we learn from Nanda Maharaj here. There was so much bewilderment, but he was eager to set aside everything and take association of Gargmuni and do the prescribed duties. Prescribed duty was, yes, the son should be named. Naming ceremony is what? It's another excuse to get blessings from senior Vaishnavas for your children. That is called naming ceremony. Now just in the next verse, it is said, Sri Shuka Uvacha Evam Samprarthito Vipraha Swachikirsitam Evatat Chakara Nama Karanam Gudho Rahasi Balayo. Shukdev Goswami thus continued. Having thus especially requested by Nanda Maharaj to do that which he already desired to do, Garg Muni performed the name-giving ceremony of Krishna and Balaram in a solitary place. Please try to hear this translation. Having thus been especially requested by Nanda Maharaj to do that which he already desired to do. The he here means Garg Muni. Having thus especially been requested by Nanda Maharaj to do that which Garg Muni already desired to do, Garg Muni performed the name-giving ceremony of Krishna and Balaram in a solitary place. So, see, Garg Muni was waiting for many long years to become the spiritual master of Krishna. To perform the name-giving ceremony of Krishna. Great acharyas like Garg Muni know from beforehand only what's going to happen. That is why in the name-giving ceremony, if you read the future verses, he's telling that at one point of time this boy was born in white color, at one point of time this boy was born in yellow color, at one point of time now he has appeared in a dark color. So he can see to some degree, to the degree which Krishna allows him, to that degree he can see the past, present and future. And Garg Muni was simply waiting all his life just for this day. That when he will be able to go and meet Krishna and perform his name. It's a great honor to perform the name-giving ceremony and the samskaras for the Supreme Personality of God. But he waited for Nanda Maharaj to ask him to do so. So from this what we can learn, that sometimes we very much are eager to do some service in Krishna's consciousness. In the realm of devotional service, we are very eager to do some service. But then there are two aspects to every service. One is the eagerness to do the service, and the other is sanction to do the service. Although Vasudev had sent Garg Muni to perform this seva, but he was patiently waiting to get the sanction from Nanda Maharaj. Although by his power of devotional service he knew that he is destined to do this, but still he waited for the sanction from Nanda Maharaj. So therefore service becomes bona fide and service becomes authorized only when you get the sanction to do it. Sometimes we are very eager to do some seva. I like to do this seva. I want to engage all my senses in Krishna's service. And this is the way Krishna will be pleased. This is the way I will be fully engaged. But the movement of Srila Prabhupada demands something else. Or our authorities, they demand something else. So more important than getting that kick of being fully engaged in Krishna's service is to take the austerity of going through the trouble to do what is needful rather than what is desireful. Fortunate are those people who get a service which they like doing. So this is what we can learn. That although Gargmuni was waiting for a lifetime to do this naming ceremony, but he waited for the sanction to come. And in that way, he was very glorious. Moving on, in the later part of this 8th chapter only, the Mridu Bhakshan Leela of Krishna happens. And Krishna is eating the mud. Balram complains. Mother Yashoda comes. She catches Krishna. And Krishna says, I have not eaten mud. And then Mother Yashoda says, open your mouth. And then in the mouth of Krishna, she sees the entire cosmic manifestation. She sees all the demigods and all the spiritual and material worlds. And in the end, she sees Vrindavan also, herself also, and Krishna also, and she sees herself looking into the mouth of Krishna in the mouth of Krishna. So this is like unbelievable. And then the Bhagavatam describes that Mother Yashoda for some time is bewildered. She's not understanding what's going on. She's trying to ask herself, are the demigods doing this to me? Or are the planetary systems doing this to me? Or is it that, for example, in the Trinavat pastime, Krishna before becoming heavy on Trinavat, he became heavy on Mother Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda was trying to play with him, but then all of a sudden he started becoming heavy and heavy and heavy, and then Mother Yashoda could no longer keep him in his lap, in her lap. So she had to put him down. And then at that time, Mother Yashoda thought that maybe because I'm working too much, so I'm losing my energy. So I'm not able to lift my small child. We find it funny, but this is a great devotional sentiment. I'll explain you how. That we can understand from this verse of Bhagavatam, where Mother Yashoda is saying, I will just open up that verse in Vedas. अथो यथावान न वितर्क गोचरम चेतो मनः कर्म वचोभिर अंजसा यदाश्रयम येन यतः प्रतीयते सुदुर विभाव्यम प्रणतास्मि तत्परम. Mother Yashoda, after being fully bewildered, she ultimately surrenders to Krishna. She says, therefore let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto Him, who is beyond the conception of human speculation, mind, activities, words, and arguments, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for He is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. Jiva Goswami says that until unless your worshipable deity is inconceivable, you cannot render humble devotional service. And this is called pure devotional sentiment. You cannot understand everything which is happening to you. When problems come, we cannot all the time figure out why is it happening, why me, why not him, why not her, why not X, Y, Z. So we should take that opportunity to surrender to Krishna. It is not absolutely necessary to become a scientist in that situation and analyze how this happened or what can I do to prevent this further. More important is how am I able to take shelter of Krishna in that very moment. One may feel hopeless in a particular situation, but even a hopeless situation becomes very hope-giving if we use it as an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. So Krishna consciousness basically means how much we have realized this principle of surrendering to Krishna when there is difficulty in our life. How we can practice these principles in daily life. In order to realize or remember this philosophy, in order to surrender to Krishna, one requires intelligence. But the real test comes when the intelligence has been bewildered and we have to surrender to Krishna. So therefore Prabhupada says, practice. Practice becomes your second nature if you practice very nicely. So we have to practice on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis to surrender to Krishna. Vrajvasis, when they face any trouble, they simply surrender to Krishna. They simply chant the names of Krishna. They simply take shelter of Krishna. Very rarely any Brajvasi thought that because we stopped Indra Puja, so because of that we are suffering so much. Nobody went and told Krishna, I told you, no? Stop Indra Puja, this will happen. I had done my analysis and I had presented my report. You didn't read my email. So therefore, Indra has sent all this somewhere. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. And they took shelter of Krishna. And that is why for such devotees, Krishna lifts the Govardhan. Krishna doesn't lift Govardhan for everybody. He lifts Govardhan only for those who are completely, hopelessly surrendered to Krishna. This surrender of Krishna, the Vrajvasis under the Govardhan, is also the personification of the Ashlishasya Vapadaratam Tanastumam verse. Whether Krishna protects me or he doesn't protect me, I have to take shelter of Krishna. I have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, surrender requires faith. And faith is beyond intelligence. That's why Prabhupada tells in the Bhagavad Gita purpose. Faith means to have trust in something which is sublime. And sublime is beyond your intelligence. So I'll give you one example which will make this very clear. So once, there was a very, very famous South Indian devotional singer who was very famous for her mantra chanting and Vishnu Sahasranams and various other singings. Everybody listens to her. She was traveling in an aeroplane and the aeroplane became jittery. And everybody was fearful, what will happen? Based on the modes of material nature in which people were, they started reacting differently and expressing their anxiety. Some of them started crying, some of them shouting, some of them tried to, I don't know what, they were trying to open up the windows and see something. I've had personally this experience very recently when I was coming back to Bangalore. The flight was getting delayed. And the pilot came in and he saw that there's a problem. The pilot just, he said, I can't drive this flight, and he just went on a phone and walked off. And then the people, the technicians, they're not trying to understand. And an aeroplane is not like a bike. You cannot just replace a part and make it fit. So there's a huge procedure, and even if it is fish, there's a huge security protocol and this and that, checking and then verification, and so many certifications before the flight starts again. So the flight was getting delayed, and the people were reacting. I saw there were some people who walked in very, very gentleman behavior, walking aristocratically and sitting down, and then they were saying the seat is not clean. Somebody was saying that, why are these people shouting? Why in India everybody likes to stand in a queue? These kind of questions were there. But when the flight got stuck, the same people, they started behaving like junglis. They gave up their aristocratic nature and they showed their real nature. And then they were speaking English in some Spanish accent, but they started speaking some hardcore Bengali, and then they started scolding the air hostesses and the flight attendants that हमको जेल में बंद करके रख दिया है. जा भी नहीं सकते हैं यहाँ पर, what is this? कोई snacks भी नहीं देता है. Like that highly aristocratic person was speaking like that. So when they heard that, so immediately they ordered snacks for everybody. And then the news came, another 1 hour delay. Then further ways in which they were trying to appease everybody. So based on, so you can just imagine, here the flight is not jittering, it is just on land. Imagine what will happen when the flight becomes jittery. So different people based on that exposure to the modes of material nature were reacting differently, but there was one person in that flight who was very silently sitting, very calm and composed. So this devotional singer, she asked him that the pilot is also saying that we don't know what's going to happen. Everybody is crying. They are wearing life vests and all. But why are you so calm? Seeing you, I also become calm. But why are you so calm? So he said that, my dear madam, whole my life I have been listening to Vishnu Sahasranams and Nam Ramayana being sung by you. I know that you are a great devotee of the Lord. And when such a great devotee of the Lord is on board, it is Lord's responsibility to protect the plane. So because I am sitting next to you, so I am and even if I die, because of your holy presence, I'll remember the Vishnu Sahasranam, so everything will be taken care of. This is called faith. You cannot solve all the problems in your life. That's why Krishna says, Tam titikshasva bharata. You have to tolerate few things. And not everything will be under your vision, and not everything you can understand, see. So we have to take shelter of Krishna the way Mother Yashoda did. So she said, therefore let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances to Him who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words and arguments, who is the original cause of cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for He is beyond my contemplation, speculation and meditation. He is beyond all my material activities. So this is called faith. And this is called, Mother Yashoda could not understand what's happening, but she had faith that Krishna will protect me, God will protect me. And the best process or the best recluse in any condition is to take shelter of Krishna. So therefore, as devotees, if we are really intelligent, then we should see how much we are able to take shelter of Krishna in any situation. Am I taking shelter of my intelligence? Am I taking shelter of my resources? Am I taking shelter of my educational degree? Or am I taking shelter of Krishna? To what degree I can use every opportunity to surrender more and more to Krishna? This we learn from this pastime of Mridu Bhakshan, especially from the behavior of Mother Yashoda. So on that note, I would like to conclude today's discussion. Thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments or realizations, reflections, you're welcome.
Point, very deep philosophical point. So this, until unless our worshipable Lord is inconceivable, we cannot render devotional service. So it's a very nice point. So Mayavadis put the material world inconceivable. And the Western philosophers, everything is inconceivable for them. So, but for us, because Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he is inconceivable. And then the final point also, taking shelter of Krishna at all situations. So especially in the most difficult situations. So that's the key aspect.
Yeah, I have a question. So in lecture you told how to be happy, and you said three things: performing austerities, second prayer, worshipping the Lord, and third serving the society of devotees. So what if the austerities itself is the cause of, it's not allowing me to be happy?
Can you further clarify the question?
Everything is fine, just austerities is the problem.
What do you look at as austerity? That is the...
So waking up early and doing all sadhana and all that.
No pains, no gains. So, we are in a conditioned state, at least I am in a conditioned state. In order to shake myself out of this conditioning, in order to shake off the millions of lifetimes of nidra, tandra, laziness, lethargy, one needs to do some austerity. My spiritual master says a little bit of austerity makes a lot of space in your mind to think of Krishna. Austerity should be done only for Krishna, first of all. Austerity should not be done for anything else or anyone else. And that austerity, when done for Krishna in a conditioned state, may be a little painful in the beginning. But in the end, it is nectar. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna defines happiness in the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of ignorance, happiness in the mode of passion. So happiness in the mode of goodness is always pain in the beginning, but nectar at the end. Why? Because my state of conditioning is like that. So we need to wait for some time and we need to continue the process until we realize that yes, what I am doing is the right thing, and some things which can help us is to meditate upon the eternal reward or the great wealth of spiritual life which is waiting for us. I am speaking on the Vyasasana and I share the same feeling as you. It's not that I am a liberated person and I am doing a lot of austerities and my austerities give me a lot of bliss. I'm being honest. But because I'm being in the association of devotees and because I know that there is a great spiritual wealth awaiting, and because I know that this is my duty as a disciple and as a grand disciple, so every day I just try to do it. And I wait for that day when Krishna will and when Guru will give me that spontaneous nature where one day I would like to wake up without the alarm clock and come in front of the deities and sing for them. A sadhana when done for many years is no longer a sadhana, it becomes your nature. And we want to be in that spiritual nature. So we have to take this pain. Otherwise, if we don't wake up for Krishna, the world will force us to wake up for other things. The other day I was talking to one of my friends. He was sharing that how he was not able to sleep the entire night because of the newborn child. So austerities are anyways there. Better to become austere for Krishna rather than become austere for other things which are more engaging, I feel, than this simple austerity. And the result also is not so great compared to Krishna consciousness. So we just have to go through it, grow through it, and somehow be in the association of devotees and continue. I feel that is working for me. Whenever it is not working for me, I go to my seniors and they inspire me. So I think we can do the same. If it's not working for you, you can also go to your seniors, get some inspiration, continue, and wait for that day when it becomes your nature. Okay, it's time up now. We'll wrap up the session. Thank you very much. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
So let's thank His Grace Acyuta, Arjunasakha by chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare